Good morning, all. Here are your current events for today, Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. Governor Gretchen Whitmer declared a state of disaster in Michigan as COVID-19 cases near 10,000, with at least 337 deaths. The purpose of this declaration will allow access to more federal aid and cooperation. The original state of emergency declaration is set to expire next week. The governor would like to extend the state of emergency and disaster declaration an additional 30 days. Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey is in favor of extending the emergency, but thinks that 70 days is a bit too long. The state legislature is planning to return to Lansing on April 7th, that's next Tuesday, to extend the state of emergency. The Stay Safe, Stay Home order was initially set to end on April 13th, but be prepared for that order to be extended as well. The governor has scheduled a press conference this morning at 10:30. It is believed that she will make an announcement on her decision on what to do with the remainder of the school year. We're prepared as a staff at Parchment High School to meet whatever recommendations the governor issues, so we're all looking forward to hearing what's forthcoming from her. For the first time since 2011, astronauts will be launched in an American-made rocket. A May 2nd launch date is set for a manned SpaceX Demo 2 test flight from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Currently, we use Russian rockets. We go over to Russia, Kazakhstan, and launch from there to go to the International Space Station. In 2011 was the last space shuttle mission, so for the last 9 years we've been hitching rides with the Russians. If this May 2nd test goes well, the future will have U.S. astronauts blasting off from Cape Canaveral in Florida, and we no longer will be dependent upon the Russians. In other news, over 12,000 people applied to be an astronaut. NASA is calling this group of candidates the Artemis generation. And the purpose of these astronauts, if those that are selected, could be taking manned missions back to the moon and eventually, perhaps, manned missions to Mars. After 3 years, Sprint and T-Mobile have completed their merger into a single carrier. We used to have 4 carriers, now there will only be 3, and those 3 are AT&T, Verizon, and the newly expanded T-Mobile. The name Sprint is going to cease to exist in 3 years' time. During the next 3 years, Sprint customers will slowly be rolled into the T-Mobile system. Right now, Sprint is still out there. It's using its own towers. Its stores are going to remain open. But in the next 36 months, they will slowly be integrated into the T-Mobile system. T-Mobile has promised that they will not raise their prices in the next 3 years, but what will happen after 3 years as far as prices or what the newly merged company of T-Mobile will look like right now is anyone's guess. Today's political cartoon. Public health officials are discussing should they recommend all individuals who go outside, like for example going to the grocery store, should they wear a mask in public. The reason why they're talking about this so seriously is that the realization that 25% of individuals, up to 25% of individuals, could be asymptomatic. We talked about this yesterday in current events. And the key is we want to stop the spread. So even going to the grocery store, you're feeling fine, everything's great, but you're carrying the virus and could leave that virus behind that others could get that could have a more severe reaction. They have to weigh this, of course, with the need of masks for public health officials. If you've been watching the news, you can see that there is a tremendous need for medical supply equipment, personal protection devices especially. So it'll be interesting to see in the next coming days or weeks if that recommendation will actually come out. Well, that's our current events for today, Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. This is Mr. Ruska signing off from the home office, reminding you once again to keep calm and keep on reading. I'll see you tomorrow.